You know, one thing I've noticed about these white folks is sometimes they don't know how to curtail or put their mouths before they actually say something. You can imagine a white man coming on his app, taking his phone, sitting down, making sure he's looking ugly, turn on his ring light, and the next thing he can open his wide mouth to say is that black people should be grateful for white folks for bringing them to America. Like grateful for what? Like grateful for what? Should black people be grateful that they are losing their identity, or black people be grateful that you're using your white privilege against them, or black people be grateful that every single thing that they are supposed to benefit is being taken away, eaten by them? Should black people be grateful that what they actually built, you are sitting on it and assuming that is actually your own privilege or your own strength or your own power that is keeping you in the position where you are? Some of these white folks need to be taught how to talk, especially coming from their parents, because you just keep seeing some crazy things coming up every single day. But anyways, I want you guys to watch this video and let me know what you think. And the good part I love about this video is that his fellow white folks whooped his ass up by saying a lot. And I want you guys to watch and let me know what you think. And I'll be stitching different clips here so that you guys can actually understand. Credit belongs to original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. Subscribe, like, comment, and share. And this is just for educational purposes, not to come here bash anyone. So let's watch and know why we have to be grateful that we're in America.
Black people are lucky to be Americans. If it weren't for white people having slaves back in the day, there would be no black people in America.
And white people should be lucky that the Spaniards gave you boats so you can escape the treacherous brutality of King James. You know, he was burning white people at the stake for being pagans. You should also thank, most importantly, the indigenous people of North America for teaching you how to live off the land, because you could have died your first winter. In my humblest opinion, the indigenous people should have just put arrows in every last one of you. But that's just me. However, it will not take away from white people being thankful that the indigenous people taught you how to live off the land to survive your first winter. With that being said, this concludes the lecture, and everyone enjoy your wonderful Friday.
This immigration drama that we have right now is only possible because we don't understand our own history. As a country, and particularly those of us of European descent, we have lied to ourselves about how we got here and for what reason. See, black folks know why they're here. Native peoples know why they're here and how they got here. A lot of Asian folk know, particularly if they're Chinese American, they know they got here because their ancestors were brought over to work on the railroads by the railroad barons who didn't care if thousands of them died laying track 19, 20 hours a day. But for those of us who are from Europe, we have this fiction that we've told, and we believe it, even though there's no truth to it. You know what the fiction is? It's two parts. Number one, we say things like, with regard to Mexicans coming over the border, with regard to immigrants coming over, but only that border. That's the only one we care about, right? The southern border. I find that interesting. We're not flipping out about Canada, right? We only care about that one border, forgetting for a minute that that border was created at the end of a war that was started on false pretense by this country, after which we jacked half of their country. And you weren't taught that in school either, because our history books aren't interested in telling the truth. They tell this very patriotic history that has no relationship to the fact. So that border is artificial. Mexican folk who are coming here, documented or not, let's be clear, are coming home. Their families were here before our families were here in almost every instance. But we forget that, and then we say things like, well, I don't mind them coming. I just want them to come legally like my people did. The hell does that even mean? Come legally? There was no law to break when our people came. The fact that we didn't break a law that didn't even exist, you don't get cookies for that. You don't get like a pat on the back and a gold star because your great, great, great whatever was law-abiding when there was no law that he could have violated, even if he wanted to. But we've told this lie that we came for these upstanding principles. So we'll say things like, well, you know, our people came for liberty and freedom. These people are just coming for stuff. They're just coming for jobs. They're just coming for health care. They're just coming for stuff. We came for high-minded principle, right? Because we believe that. What kind of third-grade version of American history is that, right? Like when Donald Trump says, well, Mexico's not sending their best. What the hell, you think Europe sent their best? Our people were the losers of Europe. The winners didn't get on the boat. You understand what I'm saying? The winners didn't leave. Why the hell would you leave if you were winning? Only the losers left because they had no choice. They were dying. They were starving. They couldn't support their families.
White folks were so scared of rebellious Africans that they started breeding black people like cattle. Yeah, that was America's Plan B. September 9th, 1739, Jimmy and about 100 other Africans rose up in South Carolina. They marched with banners that said liberty, killed 25 white people, headed to Florida where black people were already free under Catholic rule. That rebellion shook colonies to their core. So what did they do? They banned African imports. They were too bold, too smart, too dangerous. Africans wouldn't submit as slaves, so they decided to make their own. They forced black women to get pregnant, chose strong bucks to grape them, sold off babies like puppies. That's where breeding plantations come from. So no, your great-great-great-grandmother wasn't just born into slavery. She was bred for it. That trauma is still in our blood, our bodies, our families, our fears. This is why Just Get Over It will never land. Black AF History by Michael Harriot. They hid this from you on purpose. Now go learn what they tried to erase. This book is the cheapest that I've ever seen it ever before. I'm gonna put the link down below because I'm not sure how long this sale is gonna last. Every household needs this book because Black history is American history.
Intergenerational aspect of land wealth is precisely what makes the estimation of historic Black land loss so relevant to discussions of racial wealth gaps today. As a result of having their land stolen from them, many Black landowners lost a valuable tool for wealth creation. Accordingly, while the children and grandchildren of white landowners reap the benefits of ready access to capital, education, home ownership, entrepreneurial safety nets, the children and grandchildren of dispossessed Black landowners face the perils of migrating to inner city ghettos, crime, poverty, instability.
1860 slave schedule shows that 40% of the enslavers were white women.
Everyone, but mainly white women, need to go and read this book. In this book, it talks directly about what his video is talking about. So please also go back, watch his video, and then like and follow him. There are magazines that taught these women on how to be proper slave owners. When I say this book directly talks about his last point about how white women literally would orchestrate the essay of other Black women just so they would not have to breastfeed their child, because back then breastfeeding your child was not seen as like high class. It was seen as low class, because as a high class woman you should be out having tea and not actually taking care of your children. The books will talk about how many Black children died from this because their mothers, once they were breastfeeding white children, were not allowed to breastfeed their own babies because they didn't want to contaminate it. There's a story in that book that haunts me to this day, and it's forever. This book forever has changed how I view white women. I could talk about it in my next.
You know, a lot of white people ask me why am I always bringing up race, and I'm gonna tell you why. Every time you try to let it go, and keep in mind, I got business partners that are white men, but every time you try to let something go, you hear these horrific stories. Horrific stories that show you that we're in 2025, and you have a young man, Mr. Lacey, R.I.P., rest his soul, who had a great future. And simply because white men, not all, white women, not all, hate us. And, you know, a lot of white people be like, man, stop making it about race. It's always been about race, and it always will be about race. The stories that you hear, it's always some type of white man, which is the cop. They wanted to crucify this young man. I don't know, maybe because he was successful, Black. Shit, their wife might knew who he was. But it's always some hate that's coming from that breed. But then when I get on here and make comments and I make videos like this, it's like white people get the first people to get on here and be like, oh, y'all always make it about race. No. Y'all made it about race. And I have many, many, many more stories. But that's just a recent one of the young LSU king that they killed, because even though he committed suicide, they helped him commit suicide by ruining his image and ruining his reputation. So when these little injustices that happen to white people and they want us to feel bad, like Charlie Kirk or whatever his name is, again, I don't got nothing negative to say, but I ain't got nothing positive to say either. White people will always be racist because they feel entitled to a land that was never theirs. With our mind, you can do anything.
Why is it so hard to understand that being Black American is an ethnicity?
Africans as a whole, like Kenyans, Nigerians, South Africans, all that I've seen have always included you guys as African, like African first. Again, from what I've seen, you guys would be considered more African than American. No, I think they would consider you ethnically African, I guess.
This topic is something that I used to think people were being intentionally obtuse about, but seeing people from all across different demographics, different ethnicities, different cultures come to the same conclusion, it really is baffling, because I think that due to the history of America and what America represents, they consider everyone in America an immigrant, and they don't take account to Native Americans and then Black Americans who are indigenous to the America. Now, when I say indigenous, I don't mean that we are the natives of this land. I mean that the Black American ethnicity exists in America because it was created there. We went through an ethnogenesis in America, creating Black Americans as an ethnicity. Black Americans are extremely mixed because we're from at least 7 regions of Africa, right? All those different regions of Africa, then European, and then trace amounts of native DNA. So when you have a group of people who come from almost the entire continent of Africa mushed into one with white people and with natives, that is a new ethnicity. And the same way that Cape Verdeans are multi-generational mixed people, the same way colored people in South Africa are multi-generational mixed people, is the same way Black Americans are multi-generational mixed people. We aren't simply African. No one in the Americas is just simply African. No one in Brazil, no one in Haiti, no one in Jamaica, no one in Dominican Republic, no one in Trinidad, no one in America is simply just African, due to the history of us in the Americas, due to us being on plantations and a part of the colonies and having slave masters rape our great-great-great-grandmothers, and then everybody being a byproduct of mixing. We're not African, and then we're more African than American, because we wouldn't exist without America, and America wouldn't exist without us. Do we have African ancestry and our genetics African? Absolutely. But is it just African? No. After 500 years, no one's quote unquote African, because what is Africa? Africa is a continent. Africa is not a country, and we don't come from a country. We were taken from kingdoms, and these countries didn't exist when the transatlantic slave trade was happening. It should not be that hard to comprehend, because do you consider Brazilians African? Are you going around calling Jamaicans African? Are you calling Dominicans African? Are you guys doing that? What is the need for Black Americans to be African? We're American. Ciao.
Anyways, you guys have seen all of that video, clip by clip, stitch by stitch, and how I was able to arrange it. And if you check the third clip I actually have, this is where you literally see this particular lady explaining what happened in the breeding farm, like debunking, like what am I saying, debunking, not debunking, like trying to like break it down for a layman understanding. And these are what we should be grateful for. Black people should be grateful that they were forced to go into the farm, pick curtains. Black people should be grateful that they were forced to bind their hands, their legs, and even pierce their mouths, put padlock, so that at the end of the day, they should not be able to eat anything from the sugarcane farm. Black people should be grateful that their enslavers were actually paid reparation, and they do not have reparation. Black people should be grateful for taking care of the white folks' house, cleaning their shoes, and so on and so forth. Black people should be grateful that white folks is actually calling them dirty, while in real sense, we are seeing the real dirty people. Black people should be grateful that till date, they are still fighting to get reparation. Reparation that was supposed to be given a long time ago. Reparation that we do not even need to be talking about it. We are supposed to like pass that level. Black people should be grateful. You know, some of these white folks, they need to actually start going to, what do you guys call it again? Is it elementary school? I don't know, let me know in the comment section, because if it is in Africa, we call it pre-nursery. Pre-nursery, where you see these small kids, these people that don't know how to talk need to just go join them there so that they can actually start from scratch in building their mentality on how they can actually talk. Because a lot of them do not know how to talk. A lot of them do not know how to put their mouth before talking. You want people to be grateful for the land that they built with their sweat, and you were sitting on it, assuming you have a privilege, and of which the privilege I'm not even seeing as far as I'm concerned. For me, I don't see it. Black people should be grateful that whenever they go into the black community, you have one idiot or the other asking them, do you belong here? Why are you here? You don't need to be here. You need to be there. Giving them different instances and why they should not even exist in where they exist. That is what black people should be grateful for. No, that is literally what black people should be grateful for. I should be grateful that instead of enjoying any country that the Lord has actually put me into, you took my forefathers illegally, gave them every single suffering that even till date, as far as I'm concerned, we have the modern day slavery. And yes, you want black people to be grateful. You want black people to come, clap for you and be like, yeah, you people are doing well. Thank you so much for actually bringing us into this land. This land is the best land that we have actually come in contact with, and so on and so forth. I don't know. As a black person watching this video, let me know in the comment section what you as a black person literally need to be grateful about, because I've been checking and checking and checking. I literally do not see anything that will make black people be grateful. Be grateful for what? It is what I built. It is my sweat. You're eating my sweat. You are eating what I am supposed to be enjoying. You're sitting the position I'm supposed to be sitting. And you want me to come and hallow you. And then I should be grateful, throwing staunch and laughing and saying, yeah, you people really did well for bringing me here. No. Leave me there. It is well. Anyways, guys, subscribe, like, comment, and share. Credit belongs to original creators of every single clips and stitches we have in our today's episode. And yes, with that being said, with no further ado, I do add like I say in my videos. I'm going to be saying bye, and I'll see you guys in my next one. For now, bye, guys. I love you guys. Mwah.